A very good afternoon and a very warm welcome to all our viewers who have tuned in to today's episode of Enterprise Matters. I am your host, Sushma Morthania, Director General of India SME Forum. I welcome you for today's session on tax reforms for revitalizing MSMEs. Focus state is Karnataka. Over past few days, we have been seeing a booming economy due to festival sales. So on one side, post-pandemic, we are picking up on businesses. Yet there are many MSMEs who are still struggling, and there are new issues and new challenges, caused due to inflation, higher prices on raw materials, uh, the banking matters, and many such other perennial challenges. And one such big issue is compliances. I wouldn't say an issue, but it is something that we all need to uh, uh, be aware of the right compliance methods, right compliance ways, and how it can contribute to the ease of doing business for MSMEs is what is focus of today's discussion. We intend to speak to some of the experts from the government side, some experts from IT side, and of course, our entrepreneurs who are actually facing these challenges. And it is from them we would like to know what is it that what change they would like to see, or what kind of reforms they anticipate in the upcoming budget and other policy changes. We would be compiling suggestions and recommendations as an outcome of today's session, and we would like to represent and take it up with relevant authorities and ministries. What we are looking at, just for the sake of context setting, I would like to mention here that one size does not fit all. The same way, MSMEs, as far as taxation is concerned, cannot be put in one bracket. We need to have separate, not laws, but separate taxation brackets and guidelines for micro, small, and medium enterprises. And so, even the compliances and the number of forms and returns that needs to be filled. Apart from that, we would also like to discuss on what kind of ceiling caps should be there for audit purposes, for levying different penalties, for revoking of GST, and many such, and input credit, GST rate, and many such matters. So, with that, we move on to our special focus session just after a short break. Welcome back. In our special focus session today, I have the pleasure of inviting and introducing a very special guest who has joined us today, Dr. B. Murali Krishna, Additional Commissioner of Commercial Taxes, E-Governance, Government of Karnataka. A very warm welcome to you, sir. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, madam. Thank you.
We are also expecting Madam Vinod Priya, IAS Commissioner MSMEs Directorate Government of Karnataka, but she'll be joining us shortly. So we'll introduce her soon once again. To join the panel as other panelists among our entrepreneurs, we have Mr. Sudarshan Kumar, Managing Director, Integral Labels, Mr. Naresh Pagaria, Managing Director, Pagaria Foods Products Private Limited.
Thank you.
Welcome, Naresh ji.
Thank you.
Mrs. Hosamin J. Savita, founder of Hasovan Private Limited. Welcome, Savita ji.
Thank you.
Uh, Mr. Saurabh Srivastava, founder and CEO, 3P Technologies, India Private
Hello.
Limited.
Thank
Welcome,
you.
Saurabh ji.
Thank you.
Uh, Mr. Rahul Mishra, Director, Light On, Bangalore. And lastly, Mr. Manoj Kumar, Director of PEPS Industries. A couple of our entrepreneurs are joining us shortly due to low connectivity. I would like to also introduce and welcome the moderator of our session, Mr. Vinod Kumar, President India SME Forum, to join the panel, please. We are tuned in and joined by 635 viewers for this session uh, through YouTube and Facebook channels. And we would like to commence this session, sir. Over to you, Vinod, sir.
Thank you, Sushma ji. It's such a pleasure to be here. And we have the good fortune of having the Additional Commissioner of Commercial Taxes in the government of Karnataka to have joined us. So, all of you, friends that are here that are going to talk about problems, I think the right gentleman is here that can address most of our issues and those issues that are addressable. And we always look at two ways. One is that, there is the only way wherein the government can provide us an ecosystem is when we talk to it, when we explain our problems and they understand that why these problems exist in the first place and how, what sort of an environment can be created for taking them out. With that, we all know the fact that, in the last 1.5, 2 years, the entire economy has been at a standstill. And the pandemic has created a lot of subsequent lockdowns. And one of the worst hit sectors at this point in time has been primarily small, micro, and medium enterprises. And this is all over the world, not only in India, and especially in India too. We've seen shuttered factories, even small stores, retail shops, warehouses. A lot of them have been shut down. And we've also seen a strong decline in retail consumption. Um, with little demand and scarcity of revenue, MSMEs have been left with meager prospects to sell goods and services physically. At the same time, we've seen in the last 1.5, 2 years, a lot of MSMEs that had B2C products have been taking to digital platforms to reestablish themselves and sell their products and gaining more traction in the process. And some have also used the opportunity to not only sell beyond the borders of their own states or cities, but they have also taken the opportunity to actually reach out to markets or entrepreneurs around the world. So, with all this happening, the idea today is to figure out how can we make the ecosystem a little more easier for all of us, so that for the current generation which is into enterprises and the next generation which is now, the government of India is talking about almost 100,000 enterprises getting registered every year as companies. And so all of them again are coming into the fold. So how can we make life easier for them? How can we make life easier for those entrepreneurs which are in the rural areas? And overall, how can we create an enviable atmosphere or ecosystem for micro, small, and enterprises? Because that is the only source by which we'll be able to create employment in this country, which we desperately need. With that, we are going to go to Sri Murli Krishna at the end. Once all of you have talked about what sort of issues exist and all that, one of the things that, in the past 8-10 days, we've been talking to various entrepreneurs from Karnataka. Some of the issues that have been brought to us is that, a place of doing business. Every time you have to sell material outside or send material outside your state, you have to have a new address, you have to have a new GST number. Now that we say one nation, one tax, but It's now become multiple GST numbers, multiple filings, multiple times you go out. There's almost 12 or 13 documents which need to be filled up, and then you finally are able to get the GST number. And then again, every GST reporting format has to be different for each state, which needs to be done online. So it is increasing compliance burdens on especially small sellers which may not have the wherewithal to actually do all this. Similarly, when we talk about offline, those of us that are below 1.5 crores in terms of turnover, the moment we want to sell something online, even if it's within our state, even if it's in my next lane or within my city, I need to go on and register for GST, even though my turnover might be only 15 lakhs. So many issues that are there, which is what we wanted to figure out from all of you as to what sort of issues exist. And I request Rahul, please put on your video. We're not able to see you here for whatever reason. And we also have Manojji, who is yet to join in. Mr. Murli Krishna sir is there any which way. So I'd like to start with Nareshji. Nareshji, I mean, you have a food manufacturing company. So can you tell us what are the sort of issues that you are facing in compliance, GST, also taxation, so that we can compile all this together? Obviously, it will go to the state as well, and we will also make it part of our compendium, which is going to go to the finance ministry and the MSME ministry, sir.
Just before you start, Naresh sir, 1 second. Sorry to interrupt you. Murli sir was saying something and he was on mute, so we could not hear you. Murli sir, would you kindly
Nothing.
repeat?
I'm there here already since in the beginning. That's it. I'm just waiting for you people to join. Okay.
Yes.
And whether how is the session has to go? Have to start the session, or it's a panel discussion? That's what I wanted to know.
Sir,
Or shall I
we
give
can
a
take
brief aspect on the GST, because many people, they are not aware of actually how simple it is. But only thing that everyone has made it so complicated, like a blind man looking at a blind cat,
elephant,
black cat in a dark room. That's the
Yes,
problem in
yes.
the whole ecosystem across the country. If you can give me some 5-10 minutes, I can clarify why.
Sure, I mean, absolutely, absolutely, we are fine
Then
with it,
after
sir.
that,
Please
you
go
can
ahead.
have your panel discussions, and if any questions are there, I'll be there, unmuted, and you can ask me. I'll mute once the unmute once again. I can get back to you because I have some other session working also. So that was
Done, sir.
Good that
Please go ahead,
madam, my commissioner, gave me an opportunity to interact with you people, because I am from the field basically. So, which I have seen the dynamics of the whole industry and the trade from the last 22 years. It's not that today itself. So, with that, I would like to say, because I have addressed more than 400 sessions across the state in the GST and the pre-GST era to implement and propagate the whole taxation system. See, one thing Mr. Vinod was telling, it's one tax, one rate, and one market. And yes, that's a fact. Please understand the dynamics. This is 29 states are joining hands to implement GST. 29 states and one union territory plus 7 union territories in the union. So when you are combining all these enactments into one rate of tax, it was a very difficult decisions at that time. And thanks to the council and the import committees to bring on this particular tax reform. I want to mention very clearly one aspect. Small things one should understand. You people said 29 compliances. See, my dear friend, you remember it is 29 states. I think I can see other participants also. You can put it on a checkered board so that I can explain better, I think. So in the 29 states, what I'm trying to tell you, earlier we had 18 taxes in each and every state. 18 taxes in each and every state. There was 18 taxes into 29 compliances. Can you remember? Now it's only one
Yes.
tax and 29 compliances. To put it in other way around, it is simple. And another thing, that the rate of taxes in 29 states were different for different commodities across the country before GST. Now, please remember, across the country, whichever the commodity you want to purchase or anything, it is only one rate of tax. See, is it not a paradigm shift altogether? That
Very correct.
people are not ready to understand at all. I'll give you another basic fundamental thing. For a registration to take in Karnataka, in earlier tax regime, it was only 5 lakh rupees turnover. Means any 5 lakh turnover rupee people have to take a registration. Today, please understand, up to 40 lakhs of business in an annum, they need not take a registration. Up to 40, it's not in Karnataka alone, it's pan India. Any state, wherever you want to take a registration, if you have a means to say it's an aggregate turnover. What you mean to say, it is not alone state of Karnataka. If you have 40 lakh turnover across the country, if it crosses for some reason, whatever it is, then you have to take registration. That's in goods sector. If it is services, it is only 20 lakhs. So that itself is a paradigm shift that nobody is trying to understand at all. I'm trying to tell you. This is one thing. Only we made compulsory registration. Those who want to make a e-commerce platform business. That's it. If they want to make it, because just to make an audit trail, you don't know how many people who make business and they won't comply at all. That is the reason we said to take a registration. We made it e-commerce people to emphatically said all people who come on the platform, they should take registration. Otherwise, if you're not going to, you may think, sir, without e-commerce, there's no business. I do agree. But there is some deviations. There is a reason for that particular aspect to be done. This is one thing. And coming to another simple compliances, you said. As I said, each and every state needs compliance. The reason I'll tell you, you will understand. Very simple. I'm a registered dealer in Karnataka, and also I'm registered in Tamil Nadu. Earlier in a regime, it was called a stock transfer. Whenever you make a branch in another state, you use a stock transfer. There is no tax. So now what we have made, the same branch, even if I have to take registration in other state, then only you have to put an invoice. If you make a sale, you can take a credit. See, please understand, the Madam Sushma was telling, this input tax credit is the biggest challenge in the tax regime. It's the biggest challenge. Once you understand, no, then it is not a challenge. That's the problem, is that in the understanding. Everyone says, sir, we are small, micro, medium, we want to be different platform. Certainly we'll be a different platform. You come to us, we are there to handhold you people to tell you how simply you can do these things. For example, you said in a COVID pandemic, we now had a business. Okay, remember one thing, all SME or MSME, any registered taxpayer should keep in their mind. Once you take a registration, don't miss out compliances. Once you take registration, even if it is nil, there is a simple form on the system, you can file nil return. On your mobile, you can file a nil return. Just put it and type it. It can, every guidelines are there. I'll not go for a detailed guidelines here. So means just that's the way I'm trying to tell you. I have come across now presently after COVID, whatever it is, in spite of the government has given amnesty scheme. They give enough amnesty. In spite of they give, sir, my registration is cancelled 6 months back. Come on here. We have given 90 days time to revoke. Now we gave a one-time measure to revoke. But beyond 90 days, we can't take a registration can be revoked. The way I'm trying to tell you, in case of B2B transactions, in case of B2B, it's very, very vital. Your input tax credit is flown to the supplier, recipient. That's the reason the revocation option has given in the system. But we forget that. The problem is that once we come to the tax, it's very difficult. We can't understand. Okay, we'll hand over to the consultant. Let him handle. Yeah, he will handle. Till when? When he gets fees. After that, you will not handle. You will mishandle, basically. Instead of handling,
Very correct.
you mishandle.
Very correct.
You make you people into such a soup. Don't mistake me. Today morning, one of the 15 years back, when a chartered accountant, he's not a small guy. He started his business. Fine. After 5-6 years back, whom I know very well. Can you imagine what kind of a blunder he has done? During the migration time, we had given a small number, one unique number. Migration means to say once the system is in place, you have to take a next number. Even that fellow has forgotten that now he's coming after 4 years. Sir, I paid in that earlier number. The new number I made an invoice. This credit you be pass it on. My dear friend, my hands are tied. I can't do anything in the system. There's no manual interference at all. It's all electronic. There's no excuses for ignorance. I'm telling you about a chartered accountant who started a business. Then you think about a small, medium entrepreneurs who have not qualified to such an extent, who have to depend upon some consultants, where you're going to end up. That's what I wanted to say. Please.
Very correct, sir. Very correct.
I'm telling you, we are there for you people. Don't think like we are like foreigners. Okay, our hatra hoಗ್ಬಿಟ್ರೆ ಏನೋ ಮಾಡ್ಬಿಡ್ತಾರೆ, something they'll do it. We can't. We'll not want to eat you people at all. See, we are all human beings. Some officers may be arrogant and abusive or indifferent. See, that is there in any enterprises. It's not only
Very
taxation.
correct.
It's not
Very
there.
correct.
Even when you go to marketing, sales, or a financial, bankers, how many bankers will be so conducive to welcome you to give a loan? They'll give, see, first they will SMS, they will call you everything. Then they'll take 100 documents. My dear friends, to take a registration, also, we don't want 100 document. Your own PAN number, your own Aadhaar number, your email ID, your mobile number. What else? That's enough for me. And where you do the place of business, that credentials. We were not asking anything more than that. You can, registration portal is so simple, people can take it. If your Aadhaar is Pakka, verified. Why I'm trying to tell you as an SME, you see your PAN card, your IT in the portal, set right properly. Aadhaar number, you see that your name, everything set right properly. See, because that is a mismatch happens. If everything matches, who will come to you? Nobody will ask you. It's just like a matchmaking. It's not mismatch making. Remember this. So why I'm trying to tell you, it is very so simple, but we are made very complex by understanding. I assure you, from Karnataka, we sit in Gandhinagar. Our head office is in Gandhinagar. You can reach us. We have a help desk. You people, we can help you out, and we have help desk at all different divisions. All our 140 LGST officers are like help desk. You please tell, our website is gst.kr.nic.in. Very simple. gst.kr.nic.in. Why I'm trying to tell you, as on date, all information is available, all mobile numbers available, details are available. You ask your SME people, some as a nodal people, to liaison with any help desk. They will give a brief insights. If they are not answering properly, I'm telling you once again, if they are not answering properly, you escalate to the joint commissioner. They are the next level officers who have to address you people. Even if they won't address you, please address to me, additional commissioners. We are there to help you all. Even I am not going to help you, the commissioner is there. See, we have this 4 level of grievance redressal at all stages. I'm telling you, as of now, just to share with you, I am an additional commissioner e-governance. Out of 9,500 grievances on online portal, out of 9,500 online portal grievances from the department, within the department. Do you know what is the minimum grievances to be attended? It's around 25. You tell me, my dear friend, in what pace we have to attend the grievances? 25 is negligible compared to the 10 lakh taxpayer in the state of Karnataka. 10 lakh
Very
taxpayers,
correct.
10,000 grievances. That is documented. Undocumented, don't know how many will come and go off. They'll come, they'll have a discussion on a WhatsApp call and email, we'll get a response. This is what I'm trying to tell you. See, please, I know how difficult, because you are at the bottom of the pyramid. Small, medium, and you are the bottom of the pyramid. Next segment comes the mid segment. Next, the large business. Without your bottom of the pyramid, no enterprise can sustain. Without your support, no enterprise can support. And we are always with you. We want to help you people as an SME or whichever the sector. You people can come to us. We will guide you. We will handle you. I have speaker in all forums. Let be FKCCA, let be CASIA, let be PNIA, let be Awake, let be Women Entrepreneurship. Name a damn thing, anyone organize. I have addressed the organization. So please come to us. We are there to help you out. So those no need to think that okay, it is a very complex structure. Even filing is very simple. We'll guide you people. I can't go
Sure,
on
sir.
explaining this particular platform.
Sure, sir.
This I feel we have done enough reforms. There's nothing else to reform the GST further. There's enough reforms we have done. Let me not go to the what suggestions and recommendations required. Anytime your representatives can come and discuss with us, any issues, certainly we can sort it out. This is what I thought. Let me clarify with you. Be open, we'll be open. If you are closed, we are also closed.
Absolutely.
Simple. Okay.
Absolutely, sir.
Let's communicate
In
each other.
fact, yes, sir. In fact,
Thank you.
going around to thank you, sir. Going around to Nareshji. Nareshji, you have heard Murali Krishna sir talking about the fact that the entire department is very open to taking any feedback and suggestions. What is it that you feel in your business today in terms of compliance, in terms of taxation, when you are running your business? Where do you think are the most challenging parts that can be corrected?
Happy afternoon to all of you. First of all, Mr. B.V. Murali Krishna's point in terms of the paradigm shift that has happened from a VAT or the sales tax to GST, I think we all in the system, I am sure my colleagues in the industry surely should appreciate that GST has made a lot paradigm shift to the way compliances was earlier, especially
Very
sales
correct.
taxes to this. I don't think anybody will have a difference of opinion. To that extent, I would like to really put my deep gratitude to the government of India as well as the government of Karnataka, who have been one of the very leading force. But adding to that, there is always a scope for improvement, and I feel this very strongly. Um, while we have done collectively quite good on GST front, but is that enough? I think there is a lot more possible. It is there. I'm sure, Mr. Murli Krishna, I will give you whatever my thoughts are on GST.
Nareshji, are you
For
there?
example, yeah. Can I continue?
Yes, yes, please, because I think we lost you for almost 10-15 seconds.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. So what I was telling is there's always a room for improvement, and it's a continuous process. I don't think there should be any end. I'm sure Mr. Murali Krishna would rethink on his point that there is not much enough to be done. I think there is scope for anything in this world, and GST being just 2, 3, 4 years old, I think there is definitely further scope. Is what my opinion is. Now, where is this scope? For example, today we as MSMEs are really facing a big issue on input tax, which the point already has come. Now, my point is, if the government talks that the input tax credit issue, we will first 1 or 2 years will not take it in a proper implement in the strong way, then it was now what has done is the government has told it should start from the day the GST has started. Now my point is the entire industry, entire of my vendors, my customers are all perturbed, and it's not just me and the entire industry, and we have to now file the GST audit. It's a real tough world, Mr. Krishna. I understand. I am sure people like me would have come to you with this kind of problem. I think somewhere, being a new law, I would think that there should have been some. Either you call it relief or you call it in some way where it could have helped us. This is something very strongly that I would like to put forth my point to the government of Karnataka as well as the government of India, because the law of GST is uniform across in most of the cases. And then look at one more point that is coming in the last few months, and that's about ambiguity on the rate of taxes. Now we talked about one nation, one tax, and okay, for some reason we had to do 3 or 4 slabs. Otherwise, the idea was single tax across the country for all products. Okay, we have
Very
our own
correct.
tensions, we had our own difficulties, and that's why we were supposed to make 3 or 4. But what is this? If somebody tells me you go into a restaurant, let's say a small restaurant, your tax is going to be 5%. I go to a 5 star, I have to pay 18%. Just imagine the flight of the restaurant. So I think these, and like this, there are few of the other points when we see. I think government should see now. See, earlier I know the compliance level by the industry was also not very good. That's what I understand. But today the compliance level has increased pretty well. Please start us also treating the way that we are also a part of your growth story. I think the time has come. We are all now become much more compliant than what we were. And being said that, I think the department is doing its best, but still there's a lot of room to grow, is what I mean. And clarity of taxes is something which I feel is predominant. It's very important, because otherwise it gives a lot of ambiguity, and it's going to be a lot of litigation and issues, which in we know that in our courts it takes decades to solve. I think, see, these are the 3, 4 points that I would be very strongly putting my point on the GST or the compliances thing. I'm sure my colleagues in the industry can put some more points, and we can always have the panel discussion. Thank you.
I'd like to go to Savita. Savita ji, please let us know. Naresh ji just outlined some of the issues that he feels are, we all understand that GST is a record-breaking transformation for taxation. There is no two ways about it. We have been making, I think I have made around 8 presentations to the GST Council in the last 4, 5 years since it has come in. And we have been constantly trying to evolve a mechanism which will make life easier for everybody. Finally, when small and medium or micro, small and medium entrepreneurs are able to do good things, what will happen is automatically we will be able to have a better economy. We'll have more jobs. It is the one thing that will lead to progress. So, what in your mind do you think are the issues that you are today facing?
Okay, a very happy afternoon. Yes, there are a few points which I would like to highlight. One thing is I think before for every entrepreneur, like as Mr. Murli Krishna clearly pointed out, that even entrepreneurs are not aware, even though they outsource their tax reforms to others. So I think the government should introduce a compulsory mandatory learning session for every entrepreneur to know about the penalties, because I have been a victim of this. My CA didn't do it initially, and because of that I had to pay a penalty of 32,000 in the initial stages, which was a very big amount for me. It was a startup, and startup cannot pay so much. So during one of the sessions, that was when I learned, and I questioned my CA, and we had to bring in. So penalties for startups, that's a huge blow. First of all, getting the funding itself is a challenge, and in that, when we have to pay penalty, the entrepreneur will be heartbroken. That is one thing. And also, since I consult small and medium organizations a lot, what I see is uh, this one, when there are more than 500 invoices, this is, I'm taking a bit deeper into it. This consolidated value, earlier there was a display, but with the latest, after October, in GST 1, the display was there, but now in the latest one, this display is not being shown. So thereby they have to go to the Excel sheet, and wherein when there are 2,000 entries, finding out a difference is a challenge. So there are, all we request is a easy procedure in the e-invoice portal, so that it should display it over there like as it was displaying earlier. That is one. And the second is this input credit ledger, especially when import is happening. And already in the beginning itself, the trading, as you already know, that during the pandemic period, they have to pay this customs duty in advance. And when the GST portal, it does not show the exact amount, then again the difference amount they have to pay. So it will be like the difference amount is huge again, and within a period of 1 month when they have to pay, it is a huge burden, a very big burden for the business owner. The pain is so much, because most of the businesses run on credit, and when they are not getting the payments and the government is expecting them to pay, it is a challenge for them. So if at least if this GST portal, if everything is being now displayed, and if those things are being done on the right time, then this burden won't be there. Like I'm just
Yeah,
trying
shall I
to.
answer, Savita? Shall I
Yes,
answer?
please. Yes,
Yeah, there are
please.
two things. One is coming to the penalties and the late fee and all that. See, that's because you delayed your compliances. That is the issue.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
that I
I
won't get
agree,
into
that is
that.
the fault of
I'll get
me
back.
as an
See whether you're.
entrepreneur.
I don't see. I don't want to tell whether your consultant had mishandled or you mishandled. I don't want to get into that. That's a compliance issue which you people should have look into it. And the second aspect you said, being you have paid the customs duty and the ICE gate portal, which is not getting reflected onto the your GST portal. Remember this. You won't believe, a big businessman who had 4 crore rupees of payment, which is seen in ICE gate portal paid. It is not driven GST yet. He came with a grievance. Well known. Say, don't mistake me. He didn't had any person to go through or any consultant. He was very, and he wanted to go to Delhi also to get it rectified. In fact, it was not my domain to look into that, but still I took as a grievance and I flagged to my help desk people. And when they looked into their portal, your own portal, they didn't know where to download the details. Just a click of a button, that particular tax, what you have paid in IceGate portal, would have been auto-populated to you, and you would have got the credit. You understood? There are some small, simple nuances these things are. And moreover, I know as an entrepreneur, you can't go on to do business. Your interested is to do business, nothing more than that. Okay. When coming to compliances, when you have such issues, don't mistake me. Ask your people or anybody just to walk into our help desk. Wherever, if you have any issues, certainly we are there to handhold you. Don't mistake me. When compared to the previous tax laws and present technology in the network, it's more user friendly when compared to the earlier one. It's not that I'm an additional commission e-governance. I'm trying to tell you. I've seen the path of progress in the last 20 years.
Sure,
It definitely is a way forward. There's no two ways about it. I'd like to go to Saurabh sir, about what your feedback is in terms of compliances, GST, in terms of taxation, and what sort of suggestions can be made to the central government and the state government, sir.
Yeah, hi. Good afternoon, everybody.
Good
See,
afternoon.
I'm running a software company, so like we are into services. So definitely our taxations are not as complex as manufacturing environment would be, right? Because we have limited, so to speak, input credits, and as far as the GST is concerned, it's fairly simple. But here I would like to add on certain things and what I've been hearing from the other colleagues in this panel. What I feel fundamentally what's missing out here is communications, right? So why I would say communication is, so there is a big gap between the department and the, so to speak, the consultants or the CAs who are the mediators between the department and the enterprises, correct? So I'll tell you my own personal experience. Like when GST was just being rolled out, right? So there were a lot of hue and cry about getting a GST number registered, right? And from my own personal CA, and I'm not here trying to label any kind of a professional or somebody, but my own CA who's been managing my accounts for probably several years now, he gave me a quote of 10,000 rupees, like just to get a registration of GST done, right? And that's when, and as Savita said, like, running a startup, you need to be very careful about each and every penny you are spending, right? So I just took, and being a little bit of tech savvy, I said, okay, let me take a chance. Like, what's so 10,000 about getting a GST number registered? And I logged on to the portal and I did my registration. And trust me, like within 2 days, I had my numbers ready with me, right? And then as Mr. Murli Krishna said, right, if your KYC documents are good, right, there's absolutely it's a smooth flow to get your numbers done. So that's when I realized is like this was the huge confusion or the fear psychosis which was being created maybe for a few of the people to get their personal agenda in terms of getting, because it is a new tax regime and there was still a lot of confusion what needs to be done and how it needs to be done. So what I would suggest is, yes, the taxes are simple, and as I said, like for our service industry, we don't have much complication, so I may not be able to comment on the structure and the compliances. But I feel there is a lot needed in terms of communication, or maybe like in terms of educating people, and right, and not only in just these forums, but with these current social medias and all these platforms in place. I think so. The government needs to take more use advantage of these platforms and communicate. And as Mr. Murli Krishna just said, like it was a click of a button and the information was there, whereas that person was panicking, right? But someone needs to teach them, right? And not everyone are will be having an opportunity or thing to go to a particular forum or attend a forum and do that. So if you can make that communication clear, I think so a lot of confusion and a lot of this fear would get away, and your help desk certainly would have a much better way to manage the whole thing comparatively. So my suggestion would be is get the communication more clearer in whatever best forms possible.
Yeah,
Murli
it's
sir
a
wanted
very
to.
good, well taken shore up. See, we have technology. Always, I believe in not having not only technology, but hand holding is most important. So, in this particular regard, what I would like to suggest, always I suggest any organization, let be FKCC, ASIA, PAA, whatever it is, why can't you people set up one help desk and can get interacted with us? Remember, it's hardly takes one data entry operator, one small BCom graduate who sees the updates quite often and who communicates the things to the taxpayer, the entrepreneurs. You please see to that, and this kind of constant platforms and awareness programs and calling the government officials for interactions, that gives a long way to go for the
Very
entrepreneurship to
correct.
have the confidence building measure. Because I've seen
Completely
many
agree.
occasions the middlemen, I don't want to say, they are very good friends of mine. They keep us very away from them. The taxpayers
Yes.
and the administrators are totally distinct and indifferent. They don't know they face each other at all. As if they come to our office, as if they come with so scary that something is going to happen, they're going to freeze us. That is the impression many people have. Don't mistake me. There are wolves, there are jackals, there are lions. It's a forest. It's a civilized forest. That's it. People are there like that. I'll not say no, but still there are good Samaritan people here and there are there who are going to guide you people. You see to that you put up an help desk at each and every your forums as a state or at the associations level. Interact with the different departments. We are there to handhold you people, my dear friends.
No, I get your point,
In
but see,
fact,
my only point I was telling was ki, like, see, like a lot of entrepreneurs, especially a startup, right? So they may not be part of any kind of a forum or any platform, correct? Like if someone is just doing a startup, like he may not be part of FCI or SME Forum or something of those.
Kasia.
Yeah, so that is where for those people is where if it is more visibly present in the social media, so that would definitely help for quite a few number of people. And point well taken, right? Definitely there is this fear which has been set in. If I go to the department, people are going to freeze me. So now that's up to like I feel it's like the department which needs to come out clean with that image. Here we are there to help you. Like as so what you are saying, so now this is definitely a good thing to hear. Like there are help desk happen in every division and every department of the thing, but that fear has to be removed. Now that is something which I think so the government needs to step forward and see how best they can remove this fear for me just walking into your office and get my queries sorted.
In fact, you know what? A webinar like this is the first step towards that, where Murli sir is clearly saying that please come and talk to us. So I move on to Rahul. Rahul, you are an online seller. You graduated from an offline seller to an online seller. So
Yes,
do
sir.
you think this GST compliance per se is a barrier, for somebody who is doing, let's say, 20, 30 lakh rupees of business offline and now has to go online, but he has to get GST registered?
No, GST registration is easy for us, sir, nowadays. But somewhere we got stuck if you are going to visit the office and somewhere certification is there. Like if you are open a shop or if you are going to do the business, we have to multiple certificate we need. Okay. For each and every office, we have to visit it. Not even single office for the certification. You have to buy, you have to take GST or a trade certificate or labor certificate. For these all the things, you have to visit each and every different office. And if you are going to online
Audibility
sales,
is not there.
hello,
Go
Audibility
ahead,
is
Rahul,
not there.
please.
okay, if you are going online sales, sir, we have multiple product to sell online. Okay, and sometimes you are selling like a bundle. So on that type we are facing some multiple taxes issues, like someone has 18%, 28% and 5%, so we cannot sell in a like a bundle product. So that's the problem we are facing in online till now.
Okay. And what I was also, for example, are you selling on Flipkart, Amazon, all the other portals
Yeah, we are selling
today?
in Amazon and Flipkart both, sir.
So are they helping you in tax compliance in any way?
No, sir.
So how are
No,
you
sir.
doing this tax compliance? So you have a CA who is doing it for you?
We have one person, sir. We are assigned, we are paying for that. They are doing that.
If I may ask, how much are you paying?
We are paying 35,000 per month, sir.
There we are. So
Yeah.
that is the question, Murli sir, that I wanted
35,000
to
per
pose.
month per
Yes,
annum.
sir.
Yes, sir.
Per month, sir.
1,000 per month or per
That is,
annum?
Per month, sir.
sir, per
Per
month,
month,
sir, per month.
35,000 per month.
Murli sir, I'll give you another case. Murli sir, I'll give you another case. Here is an Abhay.
No, no.
Abhay. He's not joined us yet, but let me tell you, he was going to join. Abhay spoke to 2 days back, and what he told me was that he has applied for a new company, a new partnership, and the Aadhaar name and the income tax name, the only difference is Aadhaar name is his, income tax
PAN
includes
name.
the father's name. Father's name also, sir, in between. So he's applied 45 times on the portal, and he's trying to reach every help desk, tell them, please give me a new number, but nobody's listening. So that's
No, that is
two.
what I'm trying to
Number
tell
three,
you.
I just want to place
Tell
2
me,
or 3
Vinod.
cases so you can reply to all of them together, sir. There's also one more gentleman. This gentleman is Manoj, and Manoj's business primarily is 64 lakh rupees per annum, and because he's also selling online, so he's got this GST number, and he has been sent a notice for GST audit. And when he went to the person, his own CA who's doing the filing, who is charging 22,000 rupees per month for doing all the GST returns, filing, reporting, everything, because there are so many bills. So that gentleman is now told him, I don't handle audits. This audit, you will have to go to another person. That person is telling him, give me 3 lakh rupees before I start looking at your file. This is just 2 cases, Manoj.
Yeah, good inputs.
and Abhay.
Not that we didn't add these inputs. It's better to become a consultant rather than an officer.
But sir, this is what I'm talking about. You see, because GST, I think
That is
the
what
way
I'm
it
trying
is-
to tell you. Then I want to demystify certain things. Okay,
Sure, sir.
Rahul Mishra is an online vendor. Okay, onto the e-commerce platform. I want to ask you, when the e-commerce business people, they want to do such a big business and all that, why they should not have an educative portal on that particular platform itself? A small thing, small video tutorials. There's nothing much cost, because the same video tutorials are there on our portal, which they can take it away, they can put it onto their websites. Small thing. What is registration? Why we want registration? Why we are taking? And coming to this, another thing, Aadhaar and PAN number and this, I'm telling you, as an SME forum and all that, you take inputs from of the like us only. See, we have experience, we know what kind of grievances, what kind of problems we encounter day in, day out. So small things, for example, correction of PAN and Aadhaar card number on the system, that will eliminate a lot of issues. See, why I'm trying to tell you, we have introduced Aadhaar authenticated registration. Why we Aadhaar authenticated? Because we want to get a genuine person to do a business. Because there are a lot of fake persons are there, and they big business. You should not hardship the taxpayer. That's why Aadhaar authentication. You please see to that. You guide your SME or go over the taxpayers, whichever it is. That let them correct their PAN and Aadhaar details first. And another thing, their mobile number and email ID. Many times I have seen these mobile ID and email numbers are nothing of the consultants only they give. Because
Very
how
correct.
many email ID he can handle? How many information he can handle? You tell me. How many SMSs he can handle? There are chances of missing you people out. Remember, it is your money. You are the taxpayer for whom actually we are going to be. You are held responsible for us, not the consultants. We have come across all these issues. Your email ID, your mobile number, and your, at least if for a particular business, okay, I don't want to do a personal mobile number to give. Have your business account mobile number. Have a practice of seeing those particular SMSs. What SMSs you are getting it. You should have to make a practice, because this is totally a technology driven era now. The manual inspector is gone. Nobody knocks your door. Only your alert, the tone come to your mobile number. The alert tone is nothing but a knocking of the door. As Raul Mishra in the background says, stop saying tomorrow. So say stop saying tomorrow. It's now. If you can realize now, these are the small changes I'm telling you. All your hardships. Otherwise, that fellow will ask 45 times. Every time 5,000 rupees. From where you're going to give money for taking registration? Registration is free. There's no security deposit, no fee, nothing. You yourselves, you can try and learn and make an error. You can create an error. Nothing will happen. We are not going to track you by where you have failed in your taking registrations. I'm trying to tell you this. This is what I can give inputs. Okay, Vinod sir.
Sure, sir. Sure, sir. In fact, there's another gentleman. This guy is from Shivmoga. He also is running a business in Devangere. And sir, this situation is he's a support guy to artisans who make wooden toys. Now, these wooden toys, the turnover of each person is 6 to 7 lakh rupees, sir. Now, during this entire COVID era, there was nothing that they could do. So he helped them to go online, but he figured out for going online, each one of them need to have a GST number. So with the result, if for a 6 lakh or 7 lakh turnover, this person needs to have a GST number, and only then he can sell. Even if he has to sell from Devangere to to Bangalore or to Mysuru, just imagine, sir, how will this person be able to do? So can we not have a differential system wherein micro enterprises, when they are going online, when they are doing these things online, because this is the only way to teach them. They have never been online, sir. And the fact that they are coming online now, and if they are coming online now, they will be able to face a lot of issues. They will slowly train and ultimately have a bigger market. And they will only employ people that we want them to employ. So if we are not able to create a mechanism for enabling them digitally, I'm not sure
Vinod
what
sir,
to do.
I want to address
Yes,
two things. He learned to do business and online. He learned to do business and online.
No, sir, they are only
what
manufacturing.
an opportunity. One second, I'll get back. He learned an opportunity to do business and online. So when you learned an opportunity to do business online, what makes him not to take registration online? That's a simple process. I'm asking you a simple thing. The reason,
Sir,
once again, I told you very clear.
I agree.
You
I
as
agree
an
with you,
SME, MSME, you can represent the council. You can take off this particular aspect of, if we don't want registration for up to 20 lakhs, even for online vendors. That is a secondary thing. That's a policy thing. Let us not go to that. I am telling you, when you can do, you know how to do business in online. You know how to make a payment online. You know how to do transactions online. What prohibits to take a registration online? A simple fundamental thing.
No, sir, registration is not an issue at all. Let us say this woman who is working with, who is making the toys, gets a registration done. The total turnover is 6 lakh rupees.
See, one thing I'll tell you. See, that's what always I'll tell my children. I'll get back. The Amazon guy knows my home address more than anybody else in Bangalore.
Yes.
It's as simple as that.
We have all been shopping through
Amazon guy knows
Amazon.
my house address. Yeah, no, that's what. See, everything is online. Let it be clothing, let it be that, let it be this, let it be that. Anything is online now. Why I'm trying to tell you, I'm receiving products from the remotest parts of the country. Remoted parts of the country. And the invoicing is done. The payment is being transferred to their bank accounts. When everything is happening online, even this small registration process, as I told you, it's a very simple process. There's nothing to think about it at all. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Instead of asking for some concessions about these things, you look at how the compliances can be increased. I hope
sir,
you can understand.
I get it, sir. In fact, I remember when I talked to the finance ministry last time when they were talking about the 194O section of the IT Act, wherein you are talking about 0.75, which was increased to 1%, which was TDS. That was the reason, because they wanted to check everybody who is doing online. So if that is already being done, sir, and even then you have not unearthed some very big numbers or huge revenue from that, but then allow these people not to. If you are saying offline,
Shall I tell you one
40
thing?
lakhs is fine.
I'll do one thing. You suggest to the policymaker, as a citizen, I'm trying, not as a policymaker. You can suggest to the policymaker.
Sure, sir.
To tell the e-commerce operators to pay the tax on behalf of the vendor. That will solve our problem. Same 18% what the vendor has to pay, let them pay e-commerce operator, let them take the credit. You can suggest, see, because they were reluctant to do that. They want to take it from a registered taxpayer. You convert into an unregistered taxpayer. Ask the e-commerce operator to pay 18% and mandatorily ask them to collect the PAN number of the vendor. That's enough for us. We can pin down any over the wherever there. At least if they can collect the PAN number, if they can pay the tax on the reverse mechanism, you ask them to bring a policy change in the council level. I think with a lot of deliberations only, it has been shifted to the vendor. Otherwise, it was on the e-commerce operators earlier.
E-commerce
You can look at
operators
that
only,
way
yes.
also. You as
I agree. I
a
agree.
forum to bring such changes, then your small entrepreneurs will not have any issues at all.
I agree, because we have been trying to work during the COVID era, COVID time, sir, with thousands of women, small entrepreneurs, micro entrepreneurs who don't have the wherewithal to go online and digital and all that. It has been a tough time to even explain them to open accounts that are connected to UPI so that they can get paid. Then putting them in, things like, Amazon, for example, has this Karigar and Saheli. There are two these boutique areas. Then you have Samarth, which is from Flipkart. There's Vriddhi from Walmart. So all this way we've been trying during, because there are so many people who are at their wits' end. They had no money, they had no livelihood, they had near nothing. And what we realized, sir, is digital, in our Prime Minister's vision of digital, is the right way. But then we need to evolve a mechanism, an ecosystem where we will enable millions and millions of them, sir. And there,
That's true.
I think people like you who are so public faced, who are clear about the fact that there needs to be a great interface between the public and the government, I mean, are the right people to actually support and help us in this manner.
Sir, there
That's
is
what we
one more
know. There's so
question.
much of changes happened after a Digital India campaign, and that's this one. 1 second, I'll just finish. You can see the tender coconut vendor and a vegetable vendor on the footpath have the Paytm things on their
yes.
That is
Yes,
the big
sir.
changes. Things are happening. Okay, they're asking me, sir, you may pay by Paytm. We don't take cash.
Sir, that is the
So
way
there
we
is
want.
one more question.
Thankfully, we are not putting GST on them yet. The day
We
we
don't
do,
want, actually.
the day we do, sir, then they will ask you cash. I can guarantee that. In Bombay, I can tell you, I live in Bombay. No shopkeeper wants to give you a GST bill, because they say, "Arey sir, what
I
do
think
you
ma'am
want
wants to talk something.
Yes, sir. Yes.
So
Yes,
there is
Pushpa ji.
one more question I wanted to highlight here. While we are still talking about some small and micro entrepreneurs, during COVID time, because they did not have any business, their GST was cancelled. Now, when the business is picking up or they want to restart, they are unable to revoke their GST because there is a huge penalty. It's almost 100 rupees a day. So I guess, if you want to even pay for a year, it's almost about 36,000 or more maybe, because per month it is around 3,000 rupees. So, how do we address this, sir? Because these are small entrepreneurs, genuine entrepreneurs, and because of COVID, their business had shut down.
No, I just clarify this. The ministry has given a lot of clarifications and advisories and amnesty. Many number of times is late fees have been suspended, and all this has been done. It's not that in all occasions. You please ask whoever the concerned taxpayers who have suffered, that they will certainly our people are there to help them out. Another coming to the revocation aspect, the government of India came out, and the Karnataka, they came out for amnesty scheme. Those were registrations cancelled in the last August 2022, August 2021, March 2022, August 2021. We had given amnesty measure up to September 2021. But many people they used, the many people never used. Remember this: any registration cancelled within 90 days only that can be revoked. That is the law. 90 days means 3 months time is there up from the cancellation. You know why we cancel? First and foremost, we cancel registration. The reason is that if they file nil returns continuously for 6 months, if they're filing nil returns for the continuously 6 months, we never want to keep such kind of a tax base. We remove them. There is only cleansing mechanism. Further, we are given another 90 days. 6 months already 180 days plus 90 days. Imagine so many days, 240 days time we are given. We are given so much so that they can come back to the business once again. People would have lost those opportunity because the opportunity, then they are going to do a problem. I At that time, they have to go for new registration. If they can't revoke within 90 days. Remember this. This is what I'm trying to tell you. Always handholding and communicating the information to the taxpayers with the registered. That's what I tell the consultants also.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Tell them.
I would like to, yeah. Sorry, sir. We lost you.
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. Thank you for that
ma'am.
response. I would like to go back to all our other panelists on concluding remarks on what are the other reforms they would like to see in the upcoming budget 2022. So, is there anything else you have in mind? Of course, I'm going to request you to send me in writing as well what you've not been able to cover here. But if you have something top of the mind, kindly include that in your concluding remarks. We can start with Naresh ji.
Okay. I think from my side, more clarity in terms of the rate of taxes, and also further rationalizing the rate of taxes, because we see that there are, too many things if that can be rationalized further. Plus, there should be absolute clarity. No question of one type of restaurant charging one rate of tax and the higher end charging. I think that's something it's complete negate the whole process of GST. I think this would be my one big recommendation.
Savita ji. You are on mute.
See, coming to that rate rationalization, what sir was telling, in fact, already it is on the cards and the government of India is doing it, and all states are working on that. Another, improving the IT system, that's also on the cards. Those are the two major reforms that are going to happen. And if not today, if the days to come, those things are going to happen. Because just to share why all this is happening, I'm telling you, when we came out with the GST reforms, our revenue neutral rate should have been 16%. But means to say, to maintain all our earlier status quo, we should have had around 16% of tax on any goods and services. But as of now, do you know that it is around 11 to 12%. So we are collecting less than 5% what actually we wanted to collect it. But in spite of it, the government of India and all other states are they're sustaining with all this. And the days to come, we are going to rationalize, and the rationalization is on the cards. Okay, that much I wanted to say. And somewhere it will come and stand on two, as the paper and the media has projected. Come here and it'll stand on 3 rates or somewhere. Let us see. Let's hope for the best.
And
Just one
sir,
point.
what about petrol and oil? You know, that is
And
the
that's
other
also the council. Then already the constitutional mandate is there. Only council has to take a decision. The council, once it takes a decision, all the states on the board. I think this rate rationalization and including the petroleum products and all that, they're all in the cards. I think it's only a time has to answer for that. I think let's hope for the best. Okay. With that, shall I take leave from your all discussion?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It was a pleasure. I mean, it's a lovely. We'd love to have a discussion with you across the table.
Anytime.
It'll be more fun. It'll be
Sure,
more
sir.
fun.
Thank you
Anytime
so
we
much.
can organize any good sessions. I can deliberate in detail. People can able to understand. Let it be newcomers or already you're existing or already you have learned much also. It should not be a problem. I'm ready to answer any stupidest question. I never get irritated. I would like to clarify anybody's doubt, and I will see to that. I know some issue from you people I can take a lead and I can reform a lot. That's what I would like to say in this August present. Thank you, Anando. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
Yes, Savita ji, we can hear from you now.
Yeah, see, it has been a kind of eye opener with him coming and clarifying so many things. So, before we even raise our issues, what I would like to state is have clarity on finding out like what are all the various options which are available. One thing where I would like to suggest is these helpline centers. If they are more yes, like as I said, they are more approachable, but where exactly are they available, particular to areas, if at all we can get some information, so we can also go interact and address our issues every now and then. And afterwards, I think first we need to do our homework properly before we come out with more asking for more is what my takeaway for this is, and I would suggest the same.
Rahul ji, then we'll move to
In
Saurabh ji
fact,
for concluding.
I'd like to tell Savita ji, in fact, this helpline that Murli sir was talking about is monitored by the commissioner's office itself. So that is why he was saying, if you have any questions or any queries, or you want any support or want to come in and talk to us, you can write directly to this. So this is the helpline or email ID of the commissioner's office itself, where it's getting monitored.
Sure. I think that would be great.
And GST help desk is available. I mean, you can just go to gst.gov.in, and so on that portal you will have all the details. So GST help desk is also there on that portal.
Sure, sure.
Rahul ji, over to you.
It's okay, ma'am. GST is easier for us. Somewhere, sir is telling about the TDS for online seller. So I am thinking TDS is okay for online who is selling the product, because somewhere some person is there who is not filing that all the bills and everywhere. So it's okay for me. It's good for the TDS and TCS both for us.
Saurabh ji, hello.
Yeah,
Saurabh sir, yeah.
yeah. So I would have a think little more on a wider picture of it, like not just focusing primarily to the GST, right? So my whole idea is from an SME segment, right? The fact that the SME is the bottommost pyramid of the entire ecosystem, what we say. So our objective should be not only from a tax concession or compliance related, but we should see how we can elevate them from the bottommost pyramid, like a small enterprise is becoming medium and medium becoming a
Yes.
large, right? So if you look at the larger picture, so what I would suggest is, and how does this these enterprise become larger or move from one level to the other? Because my personal belief is like giving these subsidies or giving these tax compliance or rebate, these are we are just trying to treat the symptoms. We are not trying to treat the cause of the problem, the whole issue. Like, why am I always suffering from not being able to? Why am I finding taxes expensive, or why is it we are finding the compliance tedious, right? So now, if we look at the actual cause of this situation, is like for me to elevate from a small enterprise to a medium enterprise, right? And the way I would see is like if you look from the other side of the prism would be is like, okay, if I'm paying taxes completely and if I'm doing 100% of my compliance, how am I being incentivized? So maybe one of the parts should be is whatever money I'm earning from, so to speak, reduced in taxation or reduced in any of my these costs, if I'm reinvesting this, how much portion of that money I'm reinvesting in my business? Because if I reinvest, that's when I'm creating more infrastructure, I'm creating more jobs, I'm creating more thing, and I'm helping myself. Because not necessarily the money what I save in my business due to tax reduction or whatever, I may not necessarily be reinvest the entire amount in my business itself, right? So there has to be some kind of a mechanism where we can incentivize the entrepreneurs to reinvest maximum possible money into the business, which in the long run would help them to elevate from this level. And so that incentives can be in any form, like it can be in the form of less taxes, or it can be in the form of less compliance, whatever the it may be. Because it's I would react the way you measure me, correct? So
Yes.
it's always better. So now if it is helping me to grow my business, if I know if I'm going to save some money, if I do reinvest more into my infrastructure, I would definitely do that, because in the long run I'm actually helping the entire ecosystem. So that is what my suggestion would be, is to incentivize people to reinvest as much as possible the money into the business, so they can create new infrastructure and a new jobs which can be created for the whole ecosystem as such.
Absolutely, Saurabh sir. Thank you so much for those comments. I think you have echoed thoughts of many entrepreneurs here, and who have also joined us and watching this session here. And I can tell you for sure that gone are those days when our entrepreneurs used to think that evading tax was the only savings they could have. Those days are not here anymore. In fact, we see competition amongst entrepreneurs, and not just Bollywood actors, in showcasing what is the maximum tax they pay. So that they take pride. They take pride in quoting the amounts that they pay as taxes. So absolutely, I mean, just paying tax is not an issue, but compliance, the way it has to be paid, the kind of documentation that is involved while paying tax, and the amount of penalties involved in case there are genuine reasons why you are not able to pay, because business is is something which is not perennial all the time. When you are at a micro level, there are some months are exceptional, some months are low, and some months are just at a plateau level. And so things are not the same till you actually reach at a sustainable level. And that is the time where we need proper support and ease of doing business for and proper reforms for actually growing, as you rightly said. And that's how the reforms and policies need to be constructed. So ease of doing business is what we want to see in coming years and coming budget. And we have been talking about faceless compliances, faceless banking, we have been talking about cashless economy, digital India. So all these things, I mean, they should not remain the jargons alone, but they need to actually be implemented and executed in the right action and spirit. And it's happening, but it's taking time. And also, as entrepreneurs, ignorance is no longer a bliss, and that cannot be used as an excuse also anymore. So I think, as you rightly said, when you just picked up the computer and you filed a GST on your own, believe me, when I also did that for my company, I really could not believe that it was so easy. For example, for filing Udyam registration also, it is free. But there are people who have to pay 5,000 rupees, 8,000 rupees. So it's all about just taking, that initiative to actually just explore and do it yourself. And as entrepreneurs, it's high time we did that. So once again, thank you very much for coming here, sharing your views. We have made notes of whatever suggestions you have made here today, but I will really appreciate and request you to send some more pointers in writing, if you may. And we would like to use that as a compilation of the paper we wish to represent. So thank you, Naresh sir, Saurabh sir, Rahul ji, Savita ji, and most of all, Vinod sir, for conducting this wonderful session, and all our viewers who still hanging in there listening to us. Have a great evening. Keep safe, and all the best. Bye bye. Thank you.